everybody, my name is Sherry. Welcome to my stamp studio. I have a project for you that uses a stamp set that's only available to you for a couple more weeks, but it's free. So I wanted to make sure that I brought it to your attention. I think after this I will have used maybe all of the Saleabration stuff that I got back in December. It always seemed like there was so much time to use it, and then time just flies by. But Saleabration does end at the end of February. So head to my website. You can see the additional offerings that they have, the original offerings, and you can see my free gifts with purchase for February. So today I'm going to use the detailed Dogwood. It is free with a $100 purchase because it is a rubber set and there's lots of pieces. And I'm only going to use a handful of the pieces, so I won't have time to show you the rest. If you get it, you can be super creative and then you can show me what you did with it. It's a beautiful set. So we are going to stamp our image in StazOn. So I have a brand new StazOn pad, which is always happiness when we get new pads, right? They're not fun to buy sometimes, although Saleabration is a good time to buy them because you can get free stamps, because stamps are always more fun. Stamps and papers are my favorite, and then embellishments, and then ribbons, and then, ink pads. It's kind of like the necessity that you have to have. So StazOn works really well with watercolors, and I'm going to use the watercolor pencils. So I'm just going to stamp this on here. I'm going to cut it out with a die, so it doesn't really matter. As long as it fits on here, then the die will fit. Because it's a large stamp, I like to make sure I got everywhere. Isn't that beautiful? You could just do a really pretty vanilla and white colored card. Now I wish I had more time, because I would do that. It would be really pretty to just color this in with shades of gray. Then the set comes with the dragonfly, and the dragonfly punch is also something you can get right now in Saleabration. I'm not using the whole dragonfly because I thought maybe the punch coordinated with it, and it does, and I'll show you how, but it's not exactly the same. And then for the second thing, I just need one more dogwood flower, because when I put this through the die, I want to be able to see my background, because we're going to use a really pretty background folder. So I'm just going to stamp this on here, and now I just got that dirty. It's a good thing I only need a little bit. So I just need this one flower. Stamp that there. So we have that flower. That's all we need for this part. And then we're going to add a little bit more stamping to the end, but we can do that after we've colored. So StazOn's flash drying, so it's already dry. You don't have to worry about dry time. It dries really quickly. You don't want to leave the pad off. The top off your pad. You saw it had that extra insert just to ensure that it doesn't dry up. So I am using the new watercolor pencil assortment. So if you get those, you'll have everything you need. This is Old Olive. And I'm going to lay down a pretty strong layer of color here. So I'm pushing pretty hard with my pencils, and I always push hard with my pencils. That you just sharpen them like a regular pencil. They will last you forever. The only one of mine that ever gets shorter compared to the rest of them, all of my pencils look, they may be down to here, and I use them a lot, and other people use my pencils. But I do use my white one a lot, more than I use the other watercolor pencils, because it's nice to add highlights on darker colored cardstocks, even when you're using a different technique. So I'm just giving all of the leaves, like I said, I'm pressing hard, so I'm getting a lot of lead down on them. And then I have my pecan pie. And let's do the stems in pecan. Again, I'm pressing firm. Like, I'm not pressing hard, but firm. So a lot of lead does come out. And then I have some colors for the centers of my flowers. So I'm going to do Calypso Coral. And on this, I'm not going to press as hard because I want it to be a little bit more on the peach, light pink. So you can kind of control the amount of color you get when you use the watercolor pencils. And I'm just brushing it over the shaded lines that the artist who drew the stamp, where they put the shaded lines. And then I have some Melon Mambo, and I'm going to do the centers of my flowers in that. And I kind of go a little bit further out into where those additional lines are. That way I'll have a little bit more to work with when I go to blend it in a second. And then I have Espresso, and on it, I'm just going to add on some of, not nearly all of them that I put the Calypso, but this kind of helped tones it down from being a bright coral. And again, you want to push hard enough that you're getting lead on there. Now I'm just going to take my blender pen. These come in a set of 3. They just really move around whatever it is that you have colored with. So in this case, it's the watercolor pencils. You can use it with the ink pads. You can use it with markers, with refills. When you do use it with the watercolor pencils, when you're done, just kind of make sure you drag all the color off, because that gets the lead that's stuck to the end of the blender pen. But you can see I'm just kind of brushing that now so it fills in, leaving a little bit of white space, because dogwoods are white and I want this to not be a dark card. It's a spring card after all. So that's good for that. And then I'm just going to go straight from my olive to my pecan for the stems, because when you go from a lighter color to a darker color, or ones that are kind of similar-ish, you don't have to clean it off. Now I'm going to go to where I added that espresso, because again, it's darker, and you can see when I hit that coral that it is orange. But I have this base of browns now on my blender pen, so everything's going to have a little tinge of antique-y or more nature-looking. So now you want to just go in, and anywhere where you added the color, just kind of brush over the top of it. But again, I'm trying not to fill in all the space, because I want my flowers to overall be white and this to just be the highlights of color. So you can kind of just dab it on there. You don't even have to brush. Now we'll hit those centers. And with those, I'm going to pull a little bit of it, just a little bit, so some of the pink reaches up in there. Finished. Oh, and I didn't do this one. Let me do this one. Okay, now that one's done. I should have done that one when I was doing that one. So for this, I'm going to run it through my die cut machine with this die. I don't know which one it's from, but I will, by the time the video posts, I'll look down below the video and I can tell you which one it came out of. We will lose a little bit of this flower. So I'm going to aim it over here, and I'm going to make sure that that's the flower that it chops off. This one I'm going to cut out with my scissors. And then here's the punch. This is also one of the things you can get free that was an add-on during Saleabration. So I'm just going to slide this right up here. So you can see that's the size, and it's in between those two. So you can hand cut it out if you want the whole thing, but this card doesn't even really need that giant of a dragonfly. So if you just get that much and pop it out, then he has his little body and his little words on his wings, which is just perfect. And it's the right scale for this particular card. So let me die cut and cut. So I've done those, and then I took a piece of olive and I ran it through this folder, which is also in the January mini, and I also don't remember the name. It may be like Flowers. It may be something, Flowers 3D. It could be something really simple. But if you look below the video, I will put which one that is, because it is in the mini, and I know a lot of people have missed it because it's not part of anything. So now I have a piece of pecan cardstock. Let's cut this in half. And then there's a couple of different kinds of background things that you could put on this. You could put just the leaves, just for some texture. You could do this. You could add some more flowers. There's this little fleur-de-lis. There's the polka dots. I'm going to use this little hashy kind of fence kind of thing, and I'm going to use it in espresso. So you could use pecan pie. If you want to know the reason I didn't use pecan pie, is because this was one of my in-person camp projects, and pecan was already in another project on another bucket. So since it was already being used, I went with a darker color, but both of these colors are ink are in the design, and I'm getting as close as I can to off the edge, because once you put this on on here, not much of it shows. Let's get a little pieces like this, and then over here I think not much of that's going to show. So that it looks a hot mess, but then you put this on top and see you don't see hardly any of it. So you want to make sure you're going to see it. Now I'm going to take this, and I'm going to add some this way. And espresso is a nice dark color, so I don't have to, I'm just going to use the one inking, and as it lightens up, then it kind of just gives us a little bit of a faded variations of color of the espresso. Wipe this up. It's a a little bit of a dark color to have smear onto me. You can see I've already done another project today, and if you watch the video where I get that on my hands, then you'll know where that came from. So let's take this. I'm not gonna glue this on yet. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on the card. I'm going to use Steel Plus because this is a really high embossed image, and so this will help hold it. So when I put it on here, I wanna see the most number of flowers. So I'm gonna put it kind of in the corner. So if I do here, a lot of the flowers are cut off. If I do here, I'm gonna get some more whole flowers, and I can also add a couple here. So they can be different, a little bit different on every card if you're making multiples, just so your background's the prettiest. Or you can be super careful when you run it through your machine with the folder and you get all of them so the papers are all the same. So we have that. And then this ribbon is an online exclusive. So it's not in a catalog, but you can place it an order. You can call an order in. You can order it online as the name suggests. You can order it if you're in person somewhere. It just means that it's not found in a catalog. But you can find it online. It's pecan striped, some kind of pecan striped ribbon. I can't look at the thing because when we had our new kitten, I came in one day and she had unrolled the whole brand new spool. And the actual spool is way behind the cabinet that holds all my paper. So it was not worth it to move that to get it. Yeah, just a little bit there. And then flip it over. This is pretty even recessed. Look how pretty that is. Flip this up. Now, if you're trying to contact me and it's the last couple of weeks of February, my daughter's getting married on the 24th. So from Valentine's Day on, I am not going to be working. I may try to check emails once or twice, but I'm not going to even promise that, because if you work from home, maybe you understand that sometimes you're just going to do something for a minute and the next thing you know, a couple of hours have gone by, and I want to be fully involved in wedding stuff, not in getting lost in, because I love my job. So I can get lost in even the emails answering you guys' questions about how I did something. So here's our little thing that's going to help cover up my cut up flower. So you can do it however you want. This one actually, because it's so close to the edge, it kind of looks like it was meant to be cut. So I can even put it over here or something if I want to. I think I'll just stick it there, but it does distract from the fact that that one is cut up. I'm gonna pop this on here. On my other one, it's a little bit more to the center because that was how I saw the most images from that. Don't want it to go off the edge of the card. There we go. And then we have our tiny little dragonfly. So you can see the big one would have been a little bit much for this card. And then let's put it here. And then for my embellishments, I chose from the annual catalog the brushed metallic adhesive back dots. And all of the colors would look good. So on my other one, I have gold. So how about if we try the copper ones this time? Because they'll all look pretty. This color would look pretty too, but this particular sheet doesn't have a lot. So I'm gonna put 5. So let's go 2 big, 2, and then we'll get 3 of the smaller ones. 3. You could put them in the flower centers if you want, but then you kind of lose your pink. And I like that little bit of pink. It's that little bit of hope of spring. We had false spring here, and although it's fall spring was really nice here in Indiana. So now we have winter back, but it's not as bad of winter. It just feels a little bit worse because we have our little hint of spring, which, you know, we'll get that 5 or 6 times now before it actually comes and sticks. So here's this one. It's the other one. Really the only thing that's different are that my flowers are a little bit further over. So there you go. Remember, this is free with $50, $100 purchase. I don't remember what this is free with, but both of those are celebration items. The Dragonfly Punch is in the annual catalog, so you can get that there. So I will catch you back here later. Have a good one. Bye.